Hello, I'm LuNEJuNE, and in today's video, I'll be showing you some of the best dice to counter the new and obnoxious dice, Teleport. Teleport has a bunch of weaknesses that you can easily exploit in order to beat your opponent. The fact that if the status of the dice change in any way, shape or form, it'll spawn all the mobs on their side. Or you can make it so that a high pip gets activated, or you can disable them from freely merging by getting odd numbers. There are a bunch of ways to counter teleport, but it might be all too frustrating to understand and use in real game time. So this video will hopefully summarize all of that, and you too can start crushing teleport users in PvP. Let's dive into the video. Now, Modify Electric is a great dice, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to countering like 50 mobs at once, it's not the best dice to use. If you have a high pip Modify Electric on a crit spawn with Pantheon, it's a different story. But without it, it's honestly way too weak to follow up with the moving mobs. Imagine if they have flow as well. Modify Electric might survive rounds 1 and 2, but definitely not on round 3. Also, it's a terrible DPS dice against bosses in general, great dice but not so quite great against teleport without Pantheon. Flame does have splash damage, although it's quite the opposite with Modify Electric. Flame's splash damage is weaker compared to Modified Electric. Then why is Flame all the way here but Modified Electric at the low? Well, it's kinda simple. Flame is just a strong DPS dice. But the reason why Flame is also here and not higher is because, first of all, it cannot counter all the teleport mobs like it never was there before. And also, it really relies on Pantheon, meaning most players won't get a chance to use this dice. Without Pantheon, this dice works very well up until round 2. It's like iron, but better in every way. Here comes the best counters. I hate to admit it, but Nuke is one of the best dice to counter teleport. I don't think I need a good explanation on this, and you guys can probably imagine why it's good. Mainly, Nuke can one-shot normal mobs and the smaller ones no matter the pip of the merged Nuke dice. The percentage starts to count when you hit a mini-boss, boss, or a basilisk small boss. Nuke is a viable option in some cases, but there aren't many Nuke related decks in the PvP scene. Solar is awesome at countering teleport if you can use it. Solar has splash damage where it will constantly ramp up higher and faster than the physical damage itself. To sum this all up, basically the round splash damage you see when Solar hits does more damage than the initial hit. So sometimes you will see the mobs behind the targeted ones die before the one that your Solar is actually firing at. There is one downside to this, and the downside is that Solar can get deactivated. This is why you must have some kind of experience with Solar before using it as your main deck. Assassin ain't bad since you can constantly make the enemy annoying in any circumstances. The reason why it's good is 1. You can hit the charge teleport and potentially have the same effect as Leon hitting it. 2. You can possibly get rid of their setup, meaning you can lower some pips and basically ruin their chance attack. The reason why it's not on the list, however, is because it is pretty hard to hit the correct one, and most teleport decks have sacrifice in them, meaning if you accidentally or orangically hit a sacrifice, you will be basically helping them. This is probably the best dice to counter teleport. It's not a defensive strategy, but more like an offensive defense strategy. You attack with Royal, and then when it hits one of their charged teleports, not only will it change to a different dice, but it'll also let go all the mobs that it was storing inside it. You can potentially clear out the storage way before your enemy can merge them for an attack. Royal is the best dice to counter not only because it's funny to watch an attack backfire, but also you can win with it as well.